Hello and very good morning. My name is Kosta Du. I am a CEO and co-founder of a financial technology startup. We recently renamed from Paymob to Dapio. On this channel I am sharing the things I am struggling with as well as I am working on, and some advice and what I learned so far. So in this video I want to share my experience with in regards to negotiating and dealing with large enterprise customers and clients and small clients. This video in particular is about short-term win or lower handling fruits. Let's move on. The idea when you are dealing with large enterprise, so basically large companies like Tesco, Marks and Spencer, Auchan, Leroy Merlin, Walmart, etc., Apple, Samsung, any big name, I wouldn't recommend you to consider them, or even, let's say, even if you do have a strong relationships with them, a strong connection with them, even if you have built a very close relationship with an internal person who would like to help you. To be honest, never ever in my personal life happened that from the very beginning of doing your job you won a really big name like Lufthansa, etc. Never ever, because these companies are huge, massive, and what do they need? They have a sequence of levels of approval, and for you, if you don't exactly understand how it works, it seems to be quite obvious just to go there to sell your idea and it's done, but probably not, because all of these people, even if they will be agreeing on consuming your product, the next thing will be a tender or a proper procurement procedure. That's why it's really great. It will convince the rest of your customers, it will convince your investors that you are doing quite well if you win a really great big name. It's really good. But you must understand pretty clear a sales cycle. So, for example, to win a proper enterprise customer, you'll need to spend 1 year at least. For some cases, if you are acting within the more traditional market, let's say you supply some commodity, so even you will need 2 or 3 years to get it done. It's slightly different story if you are dealing with more innovative solution. It's because recently and for the last few years, thanks to God, all of these enterprises thought to establish some sort of innovation labs, again, to allow smaller players and startups to enter and to introduce some pretty great technologies to them and accordingly to their clients. That's how it became slightly more possible to launch all of this. Even now, if you are tending to supply something to a banking enterprise, you should consider, for example, a MasterCard Lighthouse program or an innovation lab startup sandbox established by Raiffeisen Bank. So basically, large institutions nowadays, they establishing sort of small doors to enter into them for small companies. This is definitely a good sign. But if you are just starting your business and you need to grasp some knowledge and understanding how people will be using your solution, so you definitely should consider smaller players. For example, any small corner shop who will be utilizing your, payment service, for example, or maybe just a small company who will be able to give you a proper feedback on what's going on, what are the difficulties they are experiencing with your product. That's why I would recommend you, first of all, to find a number of small companies to partner with, and trust me, it will pay back, because through even implementation of your solution to small players, small consumers, you will study yourself how it works and how to introduce it better, and moreover you will be more able to build a customer journey map. You will understand what happened first, what happened second, when happened the next, how your client is starting to familiarize themselves with your product. What do they like, what do they don't like from your product. That's how you will again win and achieve short-term wins faster. Especially at your very beginning. It's like an old saying by from the startup world says, start small and launch something tiny just to play with it yourself and fix here and there, and only when you will be completely ready to go to the market with your, let's say, half established product, half tested at least, you'll be more successful, trust me. Again, don't think about expansion around the globe, you don't need it. Speak your language, talk to local consumers next door, convince them first to buy. Because you know, my wife, she's quite skeptical about the majority of my ideas, and first of all, I definitely want to convince her with my visionary idea, and only when she will have no doubts, no concerns, and will kind of agree with me, this is the only sign for me to go beyond the home and spread this idea. Because unless you may convince people you know quite well, because probably their feedback will be most skeptical you ever heard, is because they definitely want to tell you the truth and they don't want you to lose time, right? That's why they will be most skeptical people. Because when you will be, meeting, some neighbors, especially from the next office, they always want to be kind and nice people and say, yeah, good idea, great stuff, you. But unless they pay, it doesn't count, trust me. That's why put on a scale large enterprise as a client or 5 micro businesses who will be consuming. So again, you can win these 5 small companies within a month, and you will show, you will convince people around you with proper traction, and you will be gathering feedback compared to a large enterprise you will be supplying and trying to convince for a year. At the same time, as well, be in mind that you definitely need to grasp some feedback as early as possible. It's because you will not be able to do it with the large enterprises, because they will be starting using your solution way far, I don't know, maybe in a year, and you will just be wasting that year developing probably the wrong product, when with small consumers you will get the feedback much faster, much more efficient, and you will make a pivot into a new geography, because I love pivots. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, to click the bell, etc. It's because in one of the next videos I will be telling our story, how we did the pivot and why. See you next time, my dear friend.